Okay, today we are going to do the practical demonstration of EC2 placement group. So we are going to look at how EC2 server can be placed into each category based on their need. So, and in the last video I told you that, for example, in a Binance app or any trading app or maybe Forex app, they use cluster placement of EC2 in that part that always varies amounts, or that always varies prices. The reason they use it is because in cluster EC2, everything, all the audio server, they are placed close to each other, so they can easily process the data very fast. And as a result of that, any user at that moment can actually see the way the price change. So if the price was maybe 0.05 before, it can easily change to 0.04, or within milliseconds we can easily see it. So that's cluster. So we are going to create for cluster. Then the second one is spread, and I told you that an example of organization that use spread is banking system. So banking system, they use it for their critical components. What are their critical components? Like their login page and their transaction page, because spread placement is used to make sure that that particular component is available 24/7 without any interruption. So bank know that if their login page or their transaction page is not working, they may lose customers. So that's why they use they use spread placement group for their own component. Why the third one is partition EC2 placement group. So partition group, I gave you an example of people that use it, and one of the examples is YouTube and Netflix. So YouTube and Netflix, they use it because they process large amount of data. So people upload their data, people stream video, people, you understand? So a lot of things like that. So if people are trying to upload different video on the application, so if anything happen, because they are using partition placement group, so they will be safe. Because in partition group, we have about three zones. So if one fail, the other one we continue to process the large volume of data. So the purpose of Netflix or YouTube using that is just to prevent any point of failure while video is being processed. So let's go into the game. So we are going to click on EC2, or you search it here. So let me just click on EC2. So inside this EC2, you just scroll down. Just scroll down and look for placement group. You can see it here under network and security. Click on placement group. Then now we are going to create placement group. The first one we are going to create is for trading app, which is cluster placement group. So the one that Binance use for their trading components that make those prices to be changing very fast. So we are going to create that. So we are going to name this. We can name it Binance trading components cluster placements. So I'm just using this name so that we can actually know what it is. Now, placement strategy. We are going to pick it. You can see here we have the cluster, here we have the spread, where we have the partition. So the one we are creating is cluster. Then you can see, just click on create. So automatically now we have already instructed the AWS that okay, our EC2, this is how you should place it, because what we are actually using this EC2 for is for so thing. You understand? So we are already telling Amazon that okay, do this EC2, arrange it, let them be close to each other so that it can easily process our data, so that all our customers can see price changes within milliseconds. So that is the first one. So let's create another one. So the second one we are going to create now is for what? Is for bank app. So we can just say bank login page. So it is spread placements group. So this is for bank login page. You know, bank use this type of EC2 for what? For their critical component. So spread. Now from this place, now we can see the rack. We can see spread level. We can decide to choose some spread level. So we have the one that is no restriction. Then we have outpost only. So for the sake of this video, let's just choose no restriction. So for critical component, we have to choose the other one. So just click on create group. So now this second one is actually telling EC2 that EC2, please help me to place my EC2 server for this login page or for this transaction page of our bank system. Place it in a spreading method so that there will be no point of failure. Spread the EC2 for us, so that if one availability zone fail, the other one can continue, so that we will not lose customer. Please, that's what we are trying to do here. Then the third one, we are going to create partition group. Don't forget, this partition group is for us for the YouTube or Netflix application. So let me call it YouTube app. We'll call it partition placement group. So now you can see then what is our placement strategy. Our placement strategy is what? Is partition. Now it's asking for number of partition. That is, how many do we want to be? Do we want to select in what? In each partition. We can see that we have partition 1 to 7. You can see. So it means that we can arrange for each partition. You understand? Maybe partition 1. So we can arrange like 4. You understand? 4 EC2 server. Then partition 2, like that. So that is what we want to create for each of the group. You understand? For each of the partition. So once we select 4 now, so it's going to create a 4 number of partition for us. So the essence of using this is to make sure that video processing large amount of data are not corrupted or interrupted or failed. If at all, if any of the partition fail. So that's why we are selecting more. So if we select just only 1 now, you understand? It means it will only create 1 partition for our EC2, and as a result of that, there may be point of failure. So it's better we select 2, or we can select 4 based on our infrastructure. So just click on create, and now we have the 3 of them. We can see it now. So we have the cluster. You see, we have the cluster. We have the cluster for for trading app. Then we have the spread for bank login page, which is the critical components. Then we have we have the partition, which is for like YouTube app, Netflix. So next thing is to launch our EC2 server in any of them. So the one we are going to use as an example is going to be this bank app, this critical components app. So let's assume in a bank app now. So our login page, we need EC2 for our login page. So, and we have already created a placement group for it, so that to maintain it, to make it rigid, and to make it very, very available anytime, any day, without any interruption. So the next thing is to launch the EC2. So what we are going to do, just scroll to this left here and click on the instance. So we are now going to launch new instance. So we are launching new instance, which is EC2 server for the login page. And just give the name bank login page server. So in this place, then I can just scroll down and I can leave this like that. So I can leave this like that. I'm launching from this image, or I may select any other one I prefer. Then architecture, then instance type. So this is the instance I'm using. Though this instance is kind of small for a login page, depending on the number of users that would open. So in the normal banking system, sometimes they use the one that have high CPU. So they can use this one now. This one that have 192, depending on the number of users that know that we access the particular login page per day. Then keep here. So this keep here just used to access the SSH. You understand? So if they want to be controlling the server using the SSH, they can decide to choose any of these. So let me just proceed without that. I don't need that. Then we have the networking. You understand? So since this is a login page, and people usually want to visit the website, so they may decide to on the SSH, or they may leave the SSH. So let me close the SSH. I don't need to control it. So, but I need user to visit the page and actually make payment. So I will enable this. Then I'm going to go down. So configuration storage. This storage is kind of very, very small for a login page of a bank app, because everyday customer want to actually log in to do 1 or 2 things, to check account balance or any other thing. So I can increase this one to maybe 128 or more than that. So depending. So this is GPT. This and GPT is already okay. This one is okay. And so then I'm now going to go to the advanced system. So it is inside the advanced system. I'm now going to add my placement group. So I'll just scroll down. While I see placement group. So this is placement group. Now I'm going to select the placement group I've created. So you can see the options here. So these are the 3 things I created. So I'm going to select this one because I'm creating a very critical component of the bank application. So then I'm going to enable EBS, small storage, then instant bandwidth. I can decide to then capacity reservation. All this one they also setting. So depending. So I'm just trying to show you. Then the next thing I'm going to do now is to launch server inside this EC2. I'm going to launch I can launch Apache server or Nginx server or any kind of server I want. So I want to launch a server. So let me launch Apache server along with with my EC2. Let me install Apache server. So I'm going to check on this. So you can see install Apache server. So this is it. So I'm going to do this particular one, and I'm going to put it here so that I can launch it. So this is for Ubuntu. So depending on the kind of server you actually want to install your EC2. So this is it. So this is just to show me that my EC2 is working, so that if I visit, I'll be able to see that yes, it's actually working. Then I can click on launched. Then automatically my EC2 server will be launched. So you can see my EC2 server is already launched. If I view it, the bank login page server is ready. You can see this is the public IP and this is the private IP. You can see. So that is that about that. So Please like this video, follow and share for more updates. Thank you.